Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are South.
Another beautiful day for baseball here at SunTrust Park in Atlanta as we celebrate Los Bravos Day. My voice is not 100%. Hopefully the Braves will be as they try to win this series against the New York Mets. Hello again, everybody. Froggy along with Frenchie and Joe Simpson. Let's see if Freddie Freeman can continue his great work for the Atlanta Braves. A big home run off Jacob deGrom, who was dominant last night. But home runs and production for Freddie Freeman, fellas, absolutely nothing new for the Braves.
You know, sometimes we take Freddie for granted. We're talking about all these young players that have been called up, and we brag on how well they're doing, and we kind of take Freddie for granted. And we start looking at his numbers, and it's a repeat of just about every other previous years. But you look back over his last 162 games, which is normally a full season in the big leagues. Those are pretty stout numbers, Jeff. 44 homers, 124 RBIs.
Yeah, Freddie's just, you know, to be amazing to look at what his numbers would be if he could have stayed healthy this year. But I think the most important thing is we know going into next season, guys, that we're going to have him hitting third in the lineup. And you know what? If he can stay healthy, I don't see why he won't have an MVP type year next year.
Hard to believe, fellas, the regular season ends 2 weeks from today. We'll see what kind of numbers Freddie Freeman and the rest of the Braves can put up. It starts this afternoon with Julio Teheran. He will face Robert Gesellman and the New York Mets with a series victory on the line on a beautiful day for baseball here in Atlanta.
Dealers. Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Perfect afternoon for baseball in Atlanta as we celebrate Los Bravos on this sparkling Sunday. The Braves and Mets wrap up our 3-game series. Braves tried to win the series outright. They took game 1 by a 3-2 final score behind Sean Newcomb. Yesterday, too much Jacob deGrom, who won his career high 15th game. He shut down the Braves on 5 hits, 1 run over 7 innings. Final score, Mets 7, Atlanta 3. So the challenge for Julio Teheran today, fellas. He's riding a career high tying 4-game winning streak. Julio's got the ball. He's going to the mound pitching as well as he has at any time as a Brave, much less here in 2017.
Yeah, he's riding a 4-game winning streak, which is outstanding, and he's doing it in a very dominant way. 26 years old, 6'2", 205, 208 ERA over this stretch of games, including a real good start here at home. But as I said in the Braves live contest or broadcast, his contest against the Nationals his last time out, 7 innings, 7 hits, no runs. He was brilliant. His 4 keys to pitching success today: number 1, no let up, go for it. He's already got his record to 500 at 11-11. He's probably got 3 more starts left. Win them all, and don't let up against this lineup that is not featuring anybody that he's familiar with the Mets. And that strike 1 was so instrumental in his last 3 or 4 starts, getting ahead in the count and dictating, especially with his fastball.
And he's facing the New York Mets, who have hit more home runs than any other team in the National League. And they have won 6 of 9 games here in Atlanta, winning with 10 home runs in those 9 games. And we know about Julio's troubles in this ballpark. We'll see if that's a key as well today. The Toyota starting lineup presented by Terry Collins features Nori Aoki in right, Reyes at second. Brandon Nimmo, the left fielder, hits third. Kevin Plawecki hits fourth. Smith and Rosario, the 2 youngsters, at first and short. Lagares in center. Evans, the third baseman. Robert Gesellman, the shaggy-haired right-hander, is on the mound for the Mets, looking for his 7th win of the season. CB Bucknor has the plate today. Nick Marley, Manny Gonzalez, and Fielden Culbreth around the horn is the umpiring crew as assigned by Major League Baseball. Mets head to Miami after this series. The Braves have an off day tomorrow. We'll welcome the Nationals to SunTrust Park for their final visit Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. Middle 3 games of this final homestand in the inaugural season at SunTrust Park. Braves are playing good ball. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. They've averaged over 5 runs a game in that stretch. The good crowd on hand today. Hopefully they can put on a good show and take 2 out of 3 from the Mets.
So glad we got to hear that song before the game started. I was afraid we wouldn't.
Nori Aoki leads off for New York, hitting .255 for the year, and he takes a strike.
93 fastball. He was hitting 94, a couple of 95s in Washington.
A perfect 83-degree day as Aoki couldn't get out of the way and couldn't check his swing. No balls, 2 strikes.
Joe, you said something earlier about not letting up. I think this is when you look, obviously all these guys are big leaguers, but at the same time, Julio should be licking his chops today to kind of go out there and throw 7 or 8 innings.
You bet.
It's a perfect opportunity.
And a perfect day to pitch, 83 degrees officially, as Aoki awaits a 1-2 count. And a ground ball foul past first.
This guy surprises me. Braves were playing him to left field last night, and he burned him, hit a double over Jace's head. But every once in a while, you try to pitch him in, and he turns on the ball and yanks it foul really quick.
Julio ready with his 1-2, and that's way upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Talked a lot this series about the dramatic makeover the Mets roster has undergone because of injury and the trades that they have made. They were desperate for an outfielder when Conforto got hurt, tore the anterior capsule of his shoulder. He's undergone surgery and is going to be out for a while. So they picked up Aoki. He began the year with the Astros, and he's played well with the Mets. And he's run the count full after Julio got ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. And he lost the leadoff man. If there's been a problem for Tehran, it's been his work against left-handed hitters, if memory serves. Most of his walks have come to lefties.
Yeah, by a wide margin.
Aoki slowly heads to first base.
Yeah, I tell you, Julio's had some very just odd stats for me this year from what he's used to. Walking a lot of left-handed hitters, but yet right-handed hitters, I think, have a higher average against them than left-handed hitters this year.
Again, by a wide margin.
Yeah.
51 walks to lefties, 14 to righties. As Reyes swings to the first pitch, Markakis on the run. Look at that ball accelerate. Nick can't get it. It's up against the base of the wall. Aoki's going to be waved around third. And the Braves miss not one but two cutoff men. And Reyes into third with a triple. And it's 1-0 New York. So the leadoff walk comes home to roost. And the Mets have the game's first run with nobody out.
Not a bad pitch. It was down, sinker. Reyes has had very little success against Julio, so he wasn't going to waste any time and try to jump on that first pitch.
So 7 triples for Reyes, 53 RBIs, and now Brandon Nimmo, the hitter. He's the New York left fielder. And Julio got a strike. He's 3 for 3 in first pitch strikes, but he's down a run.
Say we talk a lot about Julio, his last couple starts having success by getting ahead early and attacking, but you also forget that the other team can make adjustments too. And they've been watching film. They know that Julio's trying to get ahead.
One ball, one strike. And Freitas a nice stop. It's 2-1. Well, for whatever reason, SunTrust Park has been to the Mets' liking. As we said, scoring over 6 runs a game head-to-head against Atlanta. They've scored 9 runs in the first 2 games, 1 already here. And with nobody out, Nimmo ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. And that'll bounce by Tom Goodwin. Foul, 2-2. Seven balls, 6 strikes among Julio's first 13 pitches.
Good life on his fastball. Nothing wrong with that. Just a little off on his location there inside, trying to keep it in on Nimmo.
Another walk. So first and third, Kevin Plawecki is coming up.
Julio needs to have a little chat with himself and reboot.
Plawecki, a supplemental first-round draft pick by the Mets back in 2012. And that one's just fouled past first.
I'll tell you, Nimmo's at bat just a minute ago. That's impressive for a young hitter right there, especially with the guy out there at third. A lot of times you can get, you know, a little selfish, especially as a young guy. Let me get that RBI, sac fly, whatever. But, you know, he was, what, 1-2 and battled back and drew a walk.
Yeah.
He's impressed me this series.
Plawecki made his major league debut against the Braves in April of 2015. Went 2 for 4 in that game and scored a couple of runs. If you had said to the Mets fans that in mid-September Kevin Plawecki would be their cleanup hitter, everybody in New York would have said forget about it.
Now, Terry Collins was wrestling with that before the game. Who was going to bat cleanup today? He even thought about batting Ahmed Rosario, their young rookie shortstop, in the cleanup spot, but just thought better of it.
The 1-1 pitch. Good slider, didn't get it. And it's 1-2. Plawecki's a college kid out of Carmel, Indiana, went to Purdue University and was the school's male athlete of the year in 2012.
I didn't know colleges had male athletes of the year.
I didn't either. Pitch. Is called a strike, and look at Plawecki's view of CB Buckner's strike zone. You know he's going to want that call for Gesellman. I'm sure they'll talk about that when Plawecki straps on the gear in the bottom of the first.
That should be a pleasant conversation coming out. Oh, wow.
Huh. Even Freitas can't believe it.
Well, it's Sunday, folks. Welcome to CBville. That won't be the last one.
So that ball was a good 4 inches outside, but Julio got the call. That brings up Dominic Smith, the Mets' young first baseman. 7 homers, 22 knocked in.
See if Julio can get a little ground ball double play here. It'd be a heck of a way to escape this.
Smith has 3 hits, 3 RBIs in the series. And now Julio didn't get that call. 1 ball, no strikes. Twenty pitches for Julio, 9 strikes. Smith, the first batter he has not thrown strike 1 to. And he's behind another left-hand hitter. 3-0 the count.
If you're a pitcher and CB Buckner's behind the plate, you get a call for strike 3 like you got on Plawecki, and then you throw one that's maybe just a hair off the plate, you don't get it, you're wondering what you have to do. And that can go on all day.
3-0 count. Got a green light, and Smith missed it. 3-1 the count.
You know, as a hitter, pitchers, you know, especially a veteran guy like Julio, you know who's behind the plate, though, Joe. You know, and you know that there's going to be times you're going to get a call. There's times you're not.
Well, here's a big pitch in the game. 3-1. Ball 4. 3 walks in the inning.
Still, disaster has not struck. He still can get a ground ball and get out of it.
And Chuck Hernandez on his way out for a visit.
We saw Rosario last night chasing a lot of bad balls. He's going to be up there swinging.
Perfect pitch right here is going to be trying to run a 2-seamer in on him, get a little ground ball. Even though Dickey throws knuckleballs, he got that 2-seamer in on him for a double play last night.
He sure did.
Especially a young kid like this, you got to know he's excited. The bases are loaded. Make him chase a little.
Started with the slider. He knows that everybody's been He's probably been paying attention. Knows everybody's been getting a fastball first pitch.
This is the kid's second big league at bat with the bases loaded.
Good call, Joe.
Well, just expecting him to be aggressive. Don't
Yeah.
give him what he wants.
Reyes, Nimmo, and Smith, the Mets base runners. They're up 1-0. And a ground ball slowly hit towards second. Second for 1. That's all Atlanta's going to get. Rosario hits the ball on the ground, but no chance to turn 2 on that play. Reyes trots home, and the Mets lead by 2. 9th RBI for Rosario on the year, and there were 2 out. So Nimmo and Rosario the runners now. First and third, 2-way for Lagares. Lagares went 1 for 3 last night, 0 for 4 in the series opener Friday. And downstairs, ball 1.
You give up 3 walks and a triple in an inning, that could really be bad. Could be a 3-run triple and a guy standing at third base and nobody out. But the order that this has all occurred still has Julio in a good position to allow only 2.
Bell tie strike. Lagares took it. Even count. Runner at first goes. The pitch caught on, driven toward right center field. Markakis on the run. He's going to get there. And that'll retire the side. 3 walks and a triple. Joe's right. That could have been a whole lot worse. As it stands now, Mets 2, Braves coming up. We celebrate Hispanic Heritage Weekend at SunTrust Park. Look who threw out the first pitch. Javier Lopez with Rio Ruiz handling the catching duties. And a strike from Javi, who looks fit as a fiddle as always here this afternoon. Great to see him at the ballpark. Matty Diaz with the first tomahawk chop. The hitting fool was the tomahawking fool for Atlanta today, who hopes to cash in a few runs against Robert Gesellman, the man on the mound for New York. Gesellman had a great finish to the season last year for the Mets. And this is the lineup. Well, here's Gesellman's spray chart, his out distribution. Ground ball pitcher.
Yeah, almost 50% ground ball outs. Good sinker, slider, curveball change. 92 to 94 this year against the Braves. 2-2 in 6 games with a .583 ERA.
He was a guy that the Mets were really hoping would take a big step forward for them this year. I recall Gesellman And Seth Lugo down the stretch pitched great for the Mets. That helped them get into the wild card game. He went 4-2 with a 2.42 ERA. It has not gone well for him this year. As a bunt try. At third, Evans. Nice play. Got his man by a step. Enders retired, 1 out. So that's how the Toyota starting 9 begins today. Ender on a bunt try, thrown out 5-3. Albies in a red hot Freddie Freeman, second and third. Markakis, Camargo, and Swanson, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Jace Peterson another start because he's had a good series. David Freitas and Julio Teheran, eighth and ninth. Ozzie had his hitting streak interrupted last night. It was 13 games. He went 0 for 3. Fly out, a strikeout, and a forced play. So start another one today, kid. Gesellman ahead 0-2.
You know, I think the alarming thing for Gesellman is not so much base on balls, Ks, but you look, his batting average against is 295 through 100 innings. That's
a lot of base runners.
Yeah, it means people, you know, getting comfortable seeing him.
Well, he's made 8 starts since mid-June. He's given up 28 earned runs in 38 innings, including 9 homers in 38 innings. For a ground ball pitcher, that is alarmingly high. He's had good luck against the Braves. In fact, he pitched one of his best games of the year against Atlanta here in early June. And that's turned on and bounced foul. That'll ricochet into the seats right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, they've almost cornered the market on tall, slender starters. He is 6'4", 200 pounds, out of Santa Monica, California, 24 years old.
Strike 3 inside corner, and Ozzie with a parting shot at CB Buckner. 2 up, 2 down.
That came back a little better than I thought it did.
Yeah, it's a pitch as a hitter. You just tip your hat and move on.
For a while last night, it looked like Jacob deGrom was on his way to a shutout until he ran into Freddie Freeman in the 6th inning. Freddie with a long home run to left center with 2 outs in the 6th inning, accounted for the first of 3 Atlanta runs. The Braves got 2 more in the 9th, but fell 4 short.
You know, even I had guys that I knew when I went to the plate, he can't get me out. Even I had a guy or 2 like that. Freddie only has a guy or 2 that can get him out. He goes up there every time knowing he's going to get 2 knocks off this guy at least tonight. And even a guy like Jacob deGrom.
That's upstairs for Freeman.
I think one thing Freddie's gotten really, really good at is realizing who wants to pitch to him and who doesn't. And a guy like deGrom, I'm coming at you early, he was ready to hit. A guy like today, he's a little more kind of patient, realizing, you know, I'm not going to.
Freddie hooks that ball toward the right field corner. That's going to one-hop the fence. And by the time Aoki chases it down, Freddie's going to stand at second with a 2-out double.
You know, right there, he saw 6, 7 pitches. He finally got a good one, but you know, that to me, that's where he's come a long way, even from 2 years ago, realizing, okay, this guy wants a piece of me, this guy doesn't.
But see, that's the thing that amazes me about Freddie right there. That's a pitch away from him that he normally drives to the opposite field. But if he gets out there a little too quick on it, and that looked like maybe a hanging slider, if he's a little too quick, man, there's such a top hand flip on that ball. It's amazing.
He is good at that.
Yeah.
So a chance for the Braves with 2 outs to get a run back here. Nick Markakis is the Braves cleanup hitter. He's going through a bit of a dry spell at the plate. 5 hits in his last 9 games. See if he can change that right here in the first.
This is the guy that some of the Mets folks were comparing Nimmo to. They think that he ultimately could be a hitter like Nick Markakis.
Well, he needs about 2,000 more hits.
Yes, he does. Got a ways to go. But they're finding Nimmo to be a better player than they thought.
It wouldn't surprise me. I know people are saying, you know, he's on the team next year. It wouldn't surprise me to see a starting job for him.
No balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball hit towards second. And Reyes will make the peg to first. And Gesellman protects a 2-0 lead as we go to the second.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet and the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home. And by Delta Airlines.
Well, hope it'll be a comeback win for your first Braves game today. Best seat in the house. Love the shades. Love the outfit. And Julio would love to have an easy second inning after he threw 28 pitches to New York. First 2 hitters, Aoki and Reyes, scored the game's first runs. He's got 8, 9, and 1 coming up here in the second. Phillip Evans is the hitter. 15th round pick by New York. He was on his way to San Diego State before signing a professional contract. And he swings the first pitch and lines it towards center. Ender with a late sprint back makes the catch.
It's the hardest one to read for the center fielder, is that one hit on a line right at you.
And Ender did exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to freeze, if anything, go back, and then that way, watch him out there. This is a perfect job.
And I love how he turned so that he's ready to crossover step whichever direction he's got to go. That's why he's a Gold Glover, folks.
Exactly.
Gesellman hitting a .161 for the year. Takes strike. It's an even count. See if CB Buckner's strike zone gets a little more consistent after the first inning. It's 1-2. Sharply hit to second, and Ozzie makes the grab. And Gesellman's retired, 2 out. And Nori Aoki's the batter. He walked and scored the game's first run.
Matthew Kaminsky just cracked me up. Aoki's coming up to the plate, and that's Merle Haggard's Okie from Muskogee. That's a beauty.
He's got some good ones. You think Aoki has any clue?
Negative.
Another first pitch strike from Julio. He's done a pretty good job of that so far in the game. And now the 0-1. Right there, strike two.
Especially with these lefties, he's been getting ahead of him 1-2, 0-2. He just hasn't been able to put him away, throw that strike in the zone.
Let's see if he can finish off the Mets right fielder and get the Braves bats back up there. Not with that pitch. Aoki didn't chase it. In the air to left, and Jace was fooled by that one. It's over his head, and that's going to roll to the fence. And Aoki around second is on his way to third, and that's where he'll stand with 2 outs. We saw a ball carry on Markakis in the first inning. That ball found another gear, and it's a triple with 2 outs.
You know what's funny, Joe, is we just talked about what a great job Ender did when that ball was hit to him to freeze. If you saw Jace, he took about 2-3 steps in. And when you do that.
Yeah, and a little circle route trying to go back and make up. Needs his pitcher to help pick him up right here.
Reyes has the other Mets triple and scored the second run his first time up. 23 runs for Reyes in his last 22 games, including today. Wonder if he'll be back in Mets colors next year. They have a lot of holes to fill for the 2018 season. First, second, third, maybe in the outfield. And who would have thought pitching too? Their original plan was to have Noah Syndergaard pitch out of the bullpen at some point in this series in Atlanta. After Syndergaard threw a bullpen session, the Mets medical staff checked him out and nixed that idea, so it's unknown when or if Syndergaard will get into a game this regular season. He's coming back from the torn lat muscle, suffered very early this season.
I got to imagine those doctors, they got to be so careful with that, because there's been so many injuries. The last kind of news you need to end the year is a guy like him blowing out and then missing all of next year.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Reyes, who swings and misses, and Julio does pick up Jace Peterson. Aoki stranded at third, and the Braves are coming up down 2 after 1.5. Here's our Toyota Do-Up feature. Johan Camargo, Dansby Swanson, and Jace Peterson. The first three coming up against Robert Gesellman, the starter for the New York Mets, who's trying to get his record to 7-7 and trying to get himself maybe back in the good graces of Sandy Alderson. He really raised some eyebrows and the ire of the Mets general manager a couple of weeks ago when Sandy Alderson said of Gesellman, he's got to pitch better. And when Robert was asked about that, he said, quote, "I don't really care about that comment." That didn't sit very well with the former United States Marine and current general manager of the Mets, Sandy Alderson, who basically said, I hope Robert understands the potential consequences of a statement like that, because the last thing any general manager wants to hear is a player in a lost season say, I really don't care about the results or how well I'm doing. I'm just here.
Yeah, that wasn't a very good reply.
No.
I think a better one would have been, maybe he should do a better job of GMing.
Now, you talk about raising some ire.
Yeah,
that might have helped.
To his defense, I don't think he's really saying I don't care about pitching. I think his way is saying I don't really care what Sandy's saying. You know,
that's probably what he meant. Yeah.
Right.
And I think obviously you can't say that, but at the same time, I mean, what do you expect him to say? He knows it.
Johan Camargo bounces toward first, and the Panama native is out number one here in the second. Well, look, Gesellman later apologized and said he regretted the comments. He, of course, does care. I don't want to say that his words were taken out of context because I don't know that to be the case. But for a Mets team that was really counting on him to improve on what was a 4-2 record last year, some have said he might be the biggest disappointment in rotation for the Mets, injuries notwithstanding in New York this year.
Yeah, when you're not pitching well, you can't say that kind of stuff. When you're Chris Sale, you can cut up jerseys and get away with it.
Well, that's true.
You know,
you can pay for it too if you're Sale.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Right.
That's still one of the best things I've ever seen or heard.
Really?
Oh, I loved it.
You're not a fan of the throwbacks?
I'm just saying for what he did.
Oh, okay.
And especially in Chicago at the time.
He obviously did not want to pitch in those throwback uniforms.
To his defense, he let them know earlier in the year. I think it's spring training.
Two quick strikes for Dansby. If memory serves, the throwback uniforms were uncomfortable for him the way that he pitches it. He said it actually did affect the way that he threw the ball, and he doesn't want to do that while he's on the mound. And unfortunately for Sale, his turn came on one of those pre-scheduled turn back the clock days. Well, Sale took care of business in a very unique way. Dansby's called out on strikes, and now it's his turn to complain. That's twice in this series that Dansby's been rung up on a pitch that he thought wasn't a strike. Was it?
Too close to take again.
Yeah, but you notice a little bit of a trend, Joe, is that the two guys that have taken it are Ozzie and Swanson. Young players that probably haven't been around and seen enough games with CB behind the plate to know. When I played, I know I was never leaving it up to him.
No, with two strikes.
I know I did that with most people in general, but especially with him.
Ground ball to second. Gesellman starting to rack up the ground outs and the strikeouts. He's got a perfect second. He's got a 2-0 lead. For our Unlimited Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's take a look at another exciting farmhand for the Braves organization. It's Rome's pitcher of the year, Bryce Wilson.
This guy's been flying under the radar a little bit and was drafted in the 2016 draft. Just 19 years old, 10-7 on the year, a 2.50 ERA, and like so many of his teammates, really pitched well, really played well down the stretch. His last 10 starts, a 2.04 ERA.
I have a pretty good inkling we're going to be seeing Mr. Wilson and others in spring training in the big league camp for the Braves next year. It is going to be an exciting spring training at Disney's Wide World of Sports next year. Can't wait to see all those youngsters gather in 2018. Brandon Nimmo leads off. It's 2-0 Mets here in the third, and that's a knee-high strike. Nimmo walked, got to third, and was stranded in the Mets' 2-run first.
That's the type of pitch you want right there. Low at the knees. Can't do much damage with that.
And by and large, Jeff, over these 4 starts, he's kept the ball down. He's had a good changeup. He's had a good slider. There have been back foot sliders. Freitas came up out of his crouch ready to throw that one to third.
See, that's the one where it gets frustrating for, I know, pitchers. But like we said, with CB back there, sometimes you're going to get it. Sometimes you're not. You have to learn to just keep grinding.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And now it's a 2-2 count. I would assume you guys as hitters hate anything that's off the plate called a strike. But I assume as well you can live with it if it's consistent because you can adjust over the course of the game. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Because right now I don't think the hitters know what a strike is, and I'm not sure that Julio Teheran knows what a strike is.
Or the umpire.
And that's a problem. Now to play left side.
Well, especially I was told by a few umpires last year that a lot of the young, newer umpires that are coming to the game right now are very, very inclined to follow the little fox track. You know, just right on the line every time. They want to be inside that. Where some of the older umpires, you know what, they don't really care about that. You know, this is my zone, and this guy has to adjust to it.
And that's what players liked.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're seeing where it's just, you know, guys, like I told you, I think guys need to do a better job knowing who that umpire is behind the plate. I always try to know, you know, what type of zone that guy had, whether it was high or low, you know, to kind of know, hey, if it's hit this area, I got to swing.
Right.
Another 3-2 pitch, and Nimmo walks again.
That was a bad sequence for Julio. Got ahead and could not make a pitch close. Well, let me back up. He struck him out.
Yeah.
Looked like he struck him out on the 0-2 pitch. And that may be what's frustrating him a lot.
So instead of strike 3, it's walk 4. And Plawecki's the hitter who got a very generous pitch called a strike that looked to be a good 3 inches off the plate.
I think one thing Julio gets trapped in sometimes is like that 0-2. He has such good stuff that sometimes he tries to make that pitch nastier than the pitch before, when it's just make the pitch and you're probably going to have a good result from it.
Plawecki didn't think that was a strike.
Well,
because it wasn't.
He got rung up. He got rung up in the first inning on a bad call.
He cannot be happy right now. If you really want to have fun, that's where you turn around after that pitch and say, was that close?
Yep. Did I go?
Probably won't be around for the rest of the game, but.
One ball, one strike. Runner at first goes. The pitch caught on and skied toward right. It's shallow. Markakis sprinting toward the line, gets there in foul ground. And Nimmo back to first with one out. Plawecki pops out, and Dominic Smith, the hitter, with Nimmo at first and one away. Right there for a strike.
We talked about this young hitter early in the series about how he stands off the plate and then kind of dives in. Looks like he likes the ball away from him.
And he took another.
That's no different than the 0-2 pitch.
No.
Nimmo took.
No.
It's the same exact pitch.
See, that's the problem I have, is that if there's an umpire who is inconsistent and needs more work, why can't they be sent back to AAA?
I hear you.
0-2 pitch.
I think that's the frustrating part for us players sometimes, is seeing the guys that get sent, you know, back and forth.
Watch this. Look where CB's set up. He's trying to set up on the inside shoulder, but there's no way he can see the outside corner.
Yeah.
He's got to guess. And when you try to always set up on the inside shoulder, meaning the shoulder between the catcher and the hitter, if you try to do that every time, if the catcher moves in, it takes you out of position.
I think that's the big beef, Joe, is that as players, we get fined, we get suspended, everybody knows. Umpire misses calls, we have no idea if they're getting disciplined, and it's a frustrating thing, because you do not know.
No balls, 2 strikes for Smith. And that's missed inside. I'd like to see, rather than umpires sent up or down, I think that would probably never occur. But why don't we know what an umpire's grade is behind the plate? How many balls and strikes did he miss or get right? Then you can identify who the real good ball and strike umpires are, and everybody in the park would know it.
I think that's why they don't want everybody in the ballpark to know. They already are claimed to be targets of verbal abuse. Remember the wristbands?
Yeah.
I remember 2 years ago in the World Series watching the Mets and the Royals. And I'm not going to name him, but I remember one of the umpires that I saw behind the plate, and I'm thinking, this guy's umpiring the World Series behind the plate.
Supposed to be a merit system.
Unbelievable.
2-2 pitch is caught on and missed. Smith is struck out, and that's the second out of the inning. So Ahmed Rosario, the hitter, he's the New York shortstop. He put the ball in play his first time up and got an RBI out of it. And that's downstairs. We could go back to the way it was in the old days and have one umpire call balls and strikes for an entire series. Jocko Conlon, I think, was the man that umpired.
Bill Clem.
Excuse me, you're right. Bill Clem was the man who officiated behind the plate every game.
I'm okay with not doing that. The one thing I liked the idea of was having the AL and NL umpires, because it gives the players a chance to know the umpires more, and it gives the umpires a chance to know the guy that's pitching more.
I think you're right there.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up out of play in the American League. If I'm correct, Joe, the AL used the balloon chest protector too, right?
In the old days.
In the old days, so you didn't have the issue of guessing on the outside corner. You'd see the umpire with that balloon and his head perched right above the catcher's mask. Got a good look at the high strike, in and out. But the inside protector. And a check swing. Rosario's rung up, and he can't believe it. Julio gets around a leadoff walk in the third inning. He trails 2-0. When we come back, Javi Lopez will chat with Kelsey Wingert on Hispanic Heritage Day here at SunTrust.
And it is Los Bravos Day here at SunTrust Park, and they found a pretty good guy to throw out the first pitch. I'm sitting down here with Javi Lopez. What was it like throwing out the first pitch? How much of an honor was that for them to ask you to do that?
Big honor, big honor. Anytime the Braves asking you to throw the first pitch is a great honor. It's a great feeling, and I'll do it anytime they want me to.
To be able to do it on Los Bravos Day, this is a day that means a lot to past and current players who come from the Hispanic heritage. How much does it mean to you to see the Braves stepping out and doing this?
Well, this is a day where we have to take the opportunity to say thank you to the Spanish community in other ways for having them, supporting us in and off the field. And this is a good timing, good day for it.
You look at the Braves team right now who's out on the field, there's a lot of guys who come from the Latin background. It's becoming a dominant, area here in baseball.
Everywhere, not only with the Braves, but pretty much throughout Major League. A lot of Spanish players out there. They all come from, a lot of them come from a really, low-income family, and they sacrifice their life to be in this position and help their family. And, that's why, when you see them up here, they all have a story, and their story, I'm pretty sure, is very amazing. And once they're here, their dreams are come true, and their family are in heaven because of that.
Well, Javi, thank you so much for your time here on Los Bravos Day. Chip, Joe, Jeff, throwing a strikeout for the first pitch. Braves country excited to see Javi back here at the ballpark.
Always good to see Javi back at the ballpark. Looks like he could still play.
It's one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Always with a smile.
Been out in California now for about 6 months. We lived in the same neighborhood, played some golf together.
Is that right?
Yeah.
David Freitas rolls one foul at the plate.
Remember that one year, I can't remember what year was it, where was it 03 when he went off and hit 43 bombs?
Yeah, I was just going to look it up. I think it's in here. And
I think it was 03. You want to talk about baseball being mental. I remember a couple guys told me he didn't even take BP on the field that year except like twice. He just felt good.
So strong, still strong,
yeah.
But he was so strong when he played that he could get fooled and hit a ball over the center field wall with regularity.
Gesellman turns it loose and missed badly outside for a full count. Leadoff walk would be nice. Braves have Julio Teheran, the team's best bunter, waiting on deck. Then the top of the order. 2-0. Mets have the lead after 2.5.
I think Javi was on that team in Double-A at Greenville that won 100 games. They had Javi, Plesko, Chipper.
Yep.
Tony Tarasco may have been on that team.
Florence.
How demoralizing did it have to be for the other teams in that league, knowing that they've won 100 down here and they're going to be going up there with all the pitching they have, right? Line to third. Freitas put up a good fight, but he's the first out.
Yeah, it didn't take those guys long to establish themselves at the big league level either. Stepped right in.
Selman set down 5 straight. He's got Julio Teheran in the box now with 1 out. Julio batting 160 on the season.
Julio said hello to Plawecki. He did not say hello to CB.
Yeah.
That's on the ground. Rosario, a nice pickup. And he'll lob it to first with the pitcher jogging down the line. That's the second out of the inning.
Rosario will hear from his manager when he comes in.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to like that one.
Even Reyes, I think, is saying something to him. Throw the ball.
Ender tried to bunt his first time up, and Evans threw him out from third base. So Ender's 0 for 1. He starts play today with 189 hits. Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies still leads the National League with 198 safeties so far this season. Colorado hosts San Diego a bit later on. You see the record holders for most hits in a single season. That's your SunTrust confidence play. Ender's got a shot at 200 hits. Little looper into shallow center, and there is number 190.
He'll take another 10 of those.
Yeah, that's one thing for young hitters at home and minor league kids coming up. One of the big things I learned was if you stay back waiting on the ball and you get jammed, you get a chance to get yourself a hit still. But when you're out in front of the ball and leaning out, ground ball, most of the time you're out.
I've said that so many times, Jeff, about it's not a bad thing to get jammed once in a while.
No. In fact, when guys are struggling sometimes and they start getting jammed, they feel like they're just around the corner from breaking out.
Yeah.
So that blue pit gives the Braves a chance to tie the game here in the third with Albies, who's hit 4 homers. He struck out his first time up. Fly ball center. Lagares got a late break, but
he'll track it down. And Albies flies out, sends our game to the 4th inning, where the bottom of the order is coming up for the Mets.
The ushers, you know, the parking lot attendants, we've been parking in the same spot, going through the exact same gate, you know, so people get to know you and it becomes a kind of a family atmosphere type deal. And so we pitched this ball to Eddie at the end of the final game of the season, just as a, hey, we'll miss you, we'll see you next year. And opening day the following year, we come back, and not only does he have this ball that we gave him in his pocket and pitches it to us, which we thought was awesome, totally didn't expect, he pitches another one and said, me too. So miss you guys till next year also, and then signed it, Eddie Perez, number 12, go Braves. So the whole family atmosphere is one of the biggest reasons why we keep coming back every year.
Not surprising, Eddie Perez, a consummate gentleman, great ambassador for the ball club. You know, he's enjoying this day, as are so many of his friends and compatriots from Latin America, as we celebrate Los Bravos Day, Hispanic Heritage Weekend, as Julio Teheran out of Colombia will get ready for the 4th inning. Had to have some mound work done in between innings. Ed Mankin and the ground crew came out and manicured the front slope of the pitcher's mound.
Got Julio out there from Colombia, Inciarte from Venezuela, Albies from Curacao, Camargo from Panama. That's pretty good representation for the Braves alone today. And the Mets have 3 players from the Dominican Republic in the lineup today.
So Juan Lagares ready to go. He flied out his first time up. Evans and Gesellman coming up in the 4th inning. Julio gave up 2 first-inning runs, 3 walks. Played a hand in that, but he settled in since, allowing just 2 base runners in his last 2 innings. And he missed inside for Lagares. 1 ball, no strikes. Popped up, and Freitas hardly had to move. He makes the play, and Lagares is retired on a pop up to the Braves catcher. Thank you very much. Here's Evans, right out to center.
Yeah, you hate that as a hitter.
Oh, it's the worst.
Trying to trick him, and then all of a sudden pop it up. It's like, why'd I even think of doing that?
It's even worse when it's not a big part of your game, when you're just trying to surprise them.
Yeah.
You feel like, oh, if I didn't do that, I might have gone deep right there.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
So 4 up, 4 down for Julio. And Evans didn't get it. A swinging strike. This guy won a batting title in the Eastern League a couple of years ago. He's played second, third, short, and the outfield at AAA. And he's getting a look here over the final couple of weeks for the Mets.
He's got the old spring training number 72.
What was your first spring training number, Jeff? Do you remember?
Yeah, 78.
Really?
Yeah. Big offensive lineman. The joke always was if you went down there and you saw 7 or 8 in front of your jersey, you were being sent down in the first or second cuts. If you had a lower number, you had an outside chance.
One ball, 2 strikes for Evans. 71 pitches for Julio. 28 of those came in the first inning today.
I remember 2005. We got called up that year, but me and Brian, you know, McCann, we lived together in spring training, and he went to the field a little earlier than I did the one day, and I come walking in, and he's packing up his stuff in spring training, and our lockers were next to each other, and I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. You know, even though you knew it was coming. I said, what are you going to do today? He looked at me and said, same thing you're doing. And about that time, Josh Hall comes around the corner, I think, and said, hey, Bobby wants to see you.
Perfect.
So he ended up telling me before Bobby even told me. I think it was a proud moment for him. So we went and played 36 holes.
There you go.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Evans, who pops this one up towards short. And who wants it? It'll be Camargo who makes the play at third. 2 outs. Now, if memory serves, we had a feature on you and Brian as roommates. And was Brian, it was you know, the old odd couple. One was Felix Unger, the other one was Oscar Madison. Who was the slob? Was that you?
Oh, that's Brian.
That was Brian?
Oh man.
One of the best pieces of video we ever got was when you were on the cover of Sports Illustrated and Brian snuck into your room and he said he sleeps with this under his pillow every night. The magazine under the pillow.
I think it's not even at home. You know, sometimes guys' houses are dirty or clothes everywhere. For me with BMAC, it was on the road. I mean, you'd walk into his room in 10, 15 minutes. When we get into the room, his stuff's everywhere. I'm like, what happened?
Really?
You know?
Tornado?
All this just to get, you know, a shirt out? You not fold anything? Unbelievable.
2 quick strikes for Gesellman.
But he could rake. So there you go.
Right?
There you go.
And a ground ball towards second. Backhand by Ozzie. Gloved it and then couldn't pick it up. A couple of hitters have reached with 2 outs in this game to push up the pitch count for Tehran. That's an error.
He's only made a couple of errors. One that went right through his legs that he deserved, and this one that he deserved. There was another one or two that I thought was a stretch on how that was charged.
You know, I bet if Ozzie had that to do over right there and realizing that it was the pitcher running, it might have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
And those are the things you learn.
So Aoki again, who's walked and tripled. And now time called.
Good curveball. Good pitch to start him. Double up, that away.
0-2. Line drive into right center field, a base hit. Gesellman around second, long locks flowing, throws coming to third. It's going to be late. And on the throw, Aoki moves to second, and then Gesellman came off the bag and is tagged out.
That's what I've been saying with the replay now. You got to keep the glove on the guy for a while, just in case.
Yep. His feet were on both sides of the bag. Right there. Nothing touching the pillow, and Camargo did keep the tag on him. The Mets are not going to challenge that call. So a great play by Camargo to keep the tag applied. That ends the inning, and the Braves are coming up down 2.
Jude and Luke. Now, he had a really rough week because last week they both got very ill and they were placed in the hospital. It was the day that we left for the road trip, and you could tell that he was really hurting about it. Those two boys are his world. Well, they got released on Friday at 11 a.m., the day that the Braves got back from the road trip. They came to the ballpark for the first time today, and Snit was out there on the field playing with them before the game. And guys, if you want to see Snitker's face light up, you ask him about those two little boys. He was smiling ear to ear, seeing them both back out here on the field. It was a very long week for his family, so it was very refreshing to see them back out here running the bases today.
He calls Luke and Jude thunder and lightning.
Yeah. I remember when those two were born. That was Snit called us right away, letting us all know. And
so glad they're feeling better.
oh.
Well, let's see what effect running the bases had on Robert Gesellman, who was caught off third base a moment ago. He's got a buzzsaw to go through here in the fourth. Freeman, Markakis, and Camargo. 2-0. New York has the lead. The Braves 2 hits to this point. And that one's smoked towards center. Lagares, though, reaches up and makes the play. 1 out. And Nick Markakis coming up.
Ball's carrying today. That was hit hard, but Lagares was deep and he still had to jump for it.
Cleveland's winning again today. They've already clinched the AL Central. They're up 2-0 over Kansas City at home. After having their 22-game win streak snapped, they won 8-4 last night. And they've got Corey Kluber going for his 17th win this afternoon at Progressive Field.
That's a lot.
That's why it's 2-0.
Yeah.
Houston's magic number is 1. Any combination of Astros wins and Angels losses, and that up to 1 means Houston wins the AL West. They have a 14-game lead, looking for win number 91 today. They're in Seattle. No score in the 3rd inning. Dallas Keuchel won last night. He beat Erasmo Ramirez. And ground ball to first. Dominic Smith, easy play. He'll take it to the bag for out number 2.
Well, that's good news for Houston, because if there's one question mark, it's their starting pitching right now, and getting those guys healthy. Beginning to get everybody back.
I think Verlander's making his first home appearance today.
That's correct. He's 12-8.
Back to that Cleveland Kansas City game. You think any of those Royals guys came in this morning and asked Ned if they could have the day off?
Yeah, I didn't sleep well.
I'm a little tight.
Royals hanging in there, trying to finish the year above 500. They're at 73 and 75 this year. And for a brief shining moment, the Royals were in the thick of things. They're still not out of the American League wild card. They're 4 back, but they'd have to pass Seattle, Los Angeles, and Minnesota to claim the second wild card in the American League. The Angels are a game behind the Twins at 76 and 72. And they host Texas a little later on. Line drive, Camargo to left. Nimmo over quickly. And the Braves have their 3rd hit of the game. All of them have come with 2 outs.
Camargo's now hit in 6 straight. Not a bad pitch, just up a little bit, and Camargo did with it what he should have done, and that's hit it the other way.
So Dansby's up. He was called out on a pitcher's pitch back in the 2nd. Dansby's 1 for 5 at the plate in the series. And almost got hit. Ball 1. Milwaukee and Miami, no score in the 2nd inning. If there is a team that can't wait to get home, it's the Marlins. After all they've been through over the last week and a half, all the walk-off losses they've had to deal with, a rescheduled series with Milwaukee at Miller Park, and of course the uncertainty of knowing what they were coming home to with Hurricane Irma. They head back to open up a series with the Mets next. That series starts tomorrow with Matt Harvey pitching for New York. The Marlins have not yet announced who their starter will be. And that's where Atlanta will wrap up the 2017 year, a 4-game series in South Florida as well.
Tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to those Marlins players for continuing to just play as hard as they have. You know, I know I was there at the end last year, but what happened last year at the end with Jose, the team all year was selling the team, and then the hurricane, and they just continue to play hard for Donnie. I think that's says a lot about him.
2-1 pitch. He played for a lot of managers. Where does Don Mattingly rank for you, Jeff?
He's up there. I mean, you know, he lets you go out there and play the game, and that's what you got to like. You know, I got spoiled though, man. The first 5 years of my career, you get to play for Bobby. Nothing's ever going to be as good as that.
Good hitters count for Dansby. 3 balls and a strike. And that one whistled into the New York dugout.
Thankfully, there is a screen on that railing that goes down the steps, too.
That might have got a piece of Terry Collins, too.
Ricochet got TC.
Yeah. Runner goes, and Dansby turns on that ball and hammers it toward left, but it's going to stay in the park. And it finds the glove of Brandon Nimmo, and we are off to the 5th. 2-0 New York in Game 3. Let's take a look at our Sherwin-Williams Painting the Corners feature. Robert Gesellman has pitched well in this park historically. Julio Teheran has been pitching great lately, but the bases on balls, fellows, the biggest difference to this point.
Well, that leadoff walk in the first inning, followed by a triple, that kind of got Julio off on the wrong foot. 2 runs across in the first inning. But the Braves are getting their hits off Gesellman. They just need to get somebody on leading off an inning.
Yeah, and Julio's come back and thrown 3 really nice, clean innings. You know, you think about a lot of 3 of those base on balls were in the first inning.
Good selection to get ahead of Jose Reyes, starting the Mets 5th. Reyes has tripled, scored, and struck out tonight. Nimmo and Plawecki to follow. I guess that sounded like a ball. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, anytime you see a pause on the throwback, you know. The Braves have a pretty good record in day games. 21-25. Yes, it's a losing record, but pretty consistent with their overall season record. The Mets are 13-30 in day games.
Popped up. That's headed for the seats behind the Mets dugout. 13-30.
13-30.
Might be time to put a curfew on the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, or no pastrami after 11 or something. Reyes looks that one downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Johan gives chase again, won't have a play. Sunday night game tonight is in Washington. It's the Dodgers and the Nationals. Washington gets a bit of a break in that off day here in Atlanta tomorrow, so they'll be able to sleep in and recover from what will be a very late, long travel night for them. Steven Strasburg's going for the Nationals tonight, as Reyes is retired on strikes. 5 of those for Julio. 1 down.
I think it's an important game for Washington tonight, honestly. I know from a standings point it's pretty much over with. They're going to host probably the Cubs. They probably can't catch the Dodgers, but just to know you didn't get swept by a team that there's a good chance you might face in the NLCS.
Right. Strasburg's got 34 straight shutout innings working too.
That's lined toward left by Nimmo and headed for the seats. As things stand now, the Cubs would play Washington in the first round. Cubs got an emotional return by Addison Russell, who missed 39 games with injury. Hit a home run yesterday in his return in a Chicago win over the Cardinals. Cubs go for another victory against St. Louis today. That one no score in the 3rd at Wrigley.
That would be a sweep also, right?
I believe so.
Cubs have had such a funny year. You know, they get swept by the Brewers last weekend at home. Then you go against a good Cardinals team and got a chance to sweep them.
Cubs are 7-1 against the Cardinals at Wrigley Field this year, and they've got Quintana pitching for him today. As Nimmo awaits an 0-2 pitch, strike 3 inside corner or in the neighborhood. 2 outs.
CB really got into that strike 3 call.
We can see that one, and that underscores Joe's point. An inside corner pitch to the left-hand hitters where he's positioned. He's going to get an excellent look at that part of the plate.
6 strikeouts, and he should have had another one on the 0-2 pitch to Aoki in the 2nd inning. But we could debate that all we want.
Yeah.
And we talk about it every time Buckner's behind the plate. Nothing's going to change.
One ball, 1 strike to Plawecki.
So funny, but if you notice now, I feel like people don't even argue anymore. I remember I used to, you know, turn around and say something. He'd just sit there and smile at you.
Well, I'm sure he's a terrific guy. It's nothing personal.
Yeah.
Nice man. Always hustles. Always in shape. But goodness, so inconsistent.
And now the 1-2 pitch is driven towards center. Ender broke back, now has to come flying in, diving try, and he recovered to make the catch. The ball's been carrying in Atlanta today, and Ender's first instinct was to go back. But look at him recover with a sprint and a diving play to retire the Mets in order in the top of the 5th. Cold hard facts today. They're brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. September, they say, can be the cruelest month. Has it been for Atlanta? Let's see where they rank the last couple of years with victories this month of September.
Last year was an awesome month where they went to the whip there. Where they go 20-10 the last 30 games and 18 wins total over the last 2 years. So good work finishing up.
Chase Peterson leads off for Atlanta. Braves are trailing 2-0 to Robert Gesellman, who since June 15th is 1-4 with a .660 ERA. Wouldn't know it today.
Braves have not had their leadoff man on in any inning. Maybe that can end right here.
3 Atlanta hits, all with 2 outs. Gesellman hasn't walked anybody yet. And like Julio, he's thrown a lot of strike 1, strike 2 pitches today.
And that's the difference between this game and his last game against the Cubs. He only went 4 innings, gave up 5 hits and 5 walks in 4 innings. Got beat.
To first, right at Dominic Smith, who takes a big swipe with the right hand, makes the play. Peterson's retired, 1 out. 7 ground ball outs for Gesellman, who is a ground ball pitcher.
11th best in the National League among starters for ground ball percentage.
David Freitas lined out his first time up. No Tyler Flowers for Atlanta, still suffering from a bruised hand. It's thought he might be able to play by Tuesday when the Nationals get to town. Tyler was hit on the hand in Washington on September 13th. That was in the 9th inning by Sean Kelly, and the hand got sore almost immediately. Not to mention just about every other place on Tyler Flowers or Kurt Suzuki's body. Those two guys have been moving targets in the batter's box this year. Kurt Suzuki hit with 13 pitches, Tyler with 19.
Kurt got nailed last night with a foul ball too. Not that he was going to catch the day game after the night game anyway, but he probably needed a breather after that.
Yeah, he felt that this morning.
Too short. Let's see if Rosario turns this one loose. Well, sorta. He flipped it to first in time. He got the Braves catcher, 2 outs. And Julio will bat with the bases empty here in inning number 5. Another ground ball out. Julio rolled out to short his first time.
August and September are such tough times of the year, just from the sole fact that your body's already tired. You're playing a game last night, and you got to get back up this morning and get your body ready to go. It is not easy.
No, sir.
You know, after a game like last night, you're wired for a couple hours. It's not like you're falling asleep by midnight.
Evans at third, cuts it off, fires to first in time, and Gesellman, we're going to be sending him a bill for the resodding of the infield. Another ground ball out. He's through 5 with a lead.
Stand by your local Hyundai dealers.
That's 2 Braves, nothing. We go to the 6th inning. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Braves baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Braves home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Mets. No runs, 3 hits, and error for Atlanta as we wrap up our series with Terry Collins and the New York Metropolitans. Dominic Smith is leading off the 6th inning. Time to get to know him. It's brought to you by AARP.
He's done all right since he got called up. He didn't have eye-popping numbers at Las Vegas. And I started to say a moment ago about him at first base when he fielded a ground ball that we haven't noticed anything out of the ordinary about him not being able to play first base very well.
As you saw in that graphic, he is the #2 rated prospect according to Baseball America. Ahmed Rosario is their #1 amateur minor league player. Smith is their #2. Nimmo's #5. Cicchini #6. Gesellman #7. We've seen all those guys in this series alone. So Smith leads off and grounds to second. Ozzy's got that tricky hop, but he stayed with it. And there's the first out.
Julio's in a groove right now. He just needs some runs.
Well, he'll have the right guys at the right time at the bottom of the inning. Top of the order scheduled for the Braves. And here is Rosario. Rosario was signed for a $1.75 million bonus in 2012. That was the largest international amateur bonus given by the Mets franchise. He was teammates with Rangers right fielder Nomar Mazara as a kid in Santo Domingo. Got great advice from his dad, who was a lawyer and a judge in his home country. Helped him through the signing process.
Oh, nice.
But he can't help him through this at bat as Julio strikes him out for number 7.
You know, you watch a guy like him, and I know he's had a great year, but you wonder about him getting tired. You know, it's September. He's never played this long. He's probably never had an extra 110 at bats. And it's you know, it's high stress at bats. It's, you know this is going on the back of your baseball card forever.
Well, I thought the same thing, wondered the same thing about Dansby. You know, he's never played this long a season before either. Oh my goodness.
Wow, he caught it.
Did he catch it?
Yeah.
He did. A line drive right back to the mound off the bat of Lagares, and Julio Teheran, flattened on the slope of the mound, somehow held on and made the play. Watch this. Wow. That's exactly what Julio said. Mets are out in the 6th. Gesellman, who is firing a 3-hit shutout at Atlanta so far. Ender Inciarte leads off and got rung up for a strike. Now it's 0-2.
Still don't like that.
With one strike.
Why do that? You're trying to bunt to third base where you fundamentally you either want it to be a base hit or foul. If it's foul, you're 0-2.
To short. Rosario got the hop and turned it loose and got his man. Another ground out. One away.
When Gesellman pitched here back in May, he only went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and a walk and a homer, allowed 5 runs, and still won the game 7-5.
But this is how he pitched here in June.
But in June, as you were talking about, yeah, 6 2/3 innings of 3-hit shutout ball. With the shin guard?
It looked like it did.
Here comes Jim Lovell.
If somebody invents a shin guard that fits over the instep and you can still run in it, you're going to make a fortune.
I wonder if that got the outside of the protector and almost pinched the protector on the skin. Otherwise, it looked like it hit it flush.
Didn't feel good, whatever it was.
No. Popped up. Evans, long run, foul ground, takes a peek at the tarp and tracks it down. Ozzie is retired, 2 away. And now Freddie Freeman's up. He's got one of the Atlanta hits, a 2-out first inning double. Look back at Freddie's numbers over 1 calendar season, 162 games. You'd take that year, wouldn't you, fellas?
I think so.
Yes.
His double was nice, but the ball he hit last time was scalded harder than his double.
44 and 124. That's what you were talking about yesterday, Jeff, with those guys getting on base so much over the course of a full season. You'd expect him to get 120, 130 RBIs.
And the saddest thing for Freddie was, from a strictly personal perspective, everybody talks about Mike Trout, justifiably so, arguably being the best player in the game. If you looked at Freddie Freeman's numbers and Mike Trout's numbers at the time of their respective injuries, they were on an almost identical track in the American and National Leagues batting departments. He was putting together, Freeman, a potential MVP season for the Braves. This is only his 103rd game, and he's hit 27 homers.
.314 career average against the Mets coming in. 20 homers, 83 RBIs. We've often showed those numbers comparatively with Chipper, the damage he did to the Mets.
Not this time, though, as Gesellman heats him up and away. And that ends the Atlanta 6th. Robert is rolling. He's set down 7 straight, and we go to the 7th. part of Hispanic Heritage Month, and Fox Sports South coverage continues all weekend long, celebrating Hispanic heritage through baseball, presented by the Georgia Lottery. Joe, Jeff, and Chip with you from SunTrust Park. Kelsey Wingert reporting from the Braves dugout. It's 2-0 New York, the lead after 6 innings of play. And Sam Freeman will relieve Julio Teheran after 6 innings of 2-run ball.
Well, Julio can't do anything about run support. So despite giving up 2 runs in the first inning, he shut him down after that. Now hopefully the bullpen can do the same and give the offense a chance in the last 3 innings.
Yeah, I thought Julio pitched great after that first inning. It could have been real easy to kind of pack it in a little bit, but he battled and came back and kept us in the game.
102 pitches over 6 innings for Teheran, as the first pitch from Freeman is hit by Evans to third, and Camargo with a perfect throw takes care of that. 1 down.
Evans likes that first pitch.
So Gesellman with the luxury of the lead and pitching well will bat for himself here. He's 0 for 2. Way outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes for the Mets pitcher.
Don't lose him.
He did, though. So a 1-out walk to the Mets pitcher brings up Nori Aoki.
I used to always talk about, unless you have a pitcher that can hit really well, when it's 3-2 sometimes, just tell him to take. You know, I mean, chance of you getting on the base might be better.
He's hitting only 172 against Freeman. And that's who's up there now, as that's right fielder Nori Aoki stands in for the 4th time. He's been on base 3 times. He's walked, scored, tripled, and singled. Up the middle. Ozzie to the bag, steps and fires. Pretty play. Freeman broke Aoki's bat, and he hits into a 4-3 double play to send us to the 7th inning stretch. Part of the order coming up for the Braves. It's only a 2-0 score. Let's see if the Braves can put something together and get in front of New York next.
Significa mucho no solo para mí, sino para todos nosotros, representar a nuestros países, representar a la comunidad hispana, porque sentimos siempre el apoyo de ellos y tratamos de hacer lo mejor por ellos.
Back at SunTrust, time for the home seventh.
Great sense of pride, isn't there?
Yep.
For all of these fellows representing not just their families and their Hispanic heritage, but their countries as well. And virtually every day wanting to do something to make them proud.
And for the men who play our game from Venezuela, can't imagine what they're going through, the turmoil they have to deal with at home. Players from the Caribbean, the Dominican, the Virgin Islands, the Leeward Islands, all of those places were gobsmacked by Hurricane Irma 2. You're right, Joe, a lot of pride and a lot of prayers too, a lot of thoughts elsewhere this time of the season with all that's going on outside the Major League Stadium. We can certainly understand that. Well, a great turnout today on a perfect Sunday afternoon with every respect but the score to this point. 2-0. Atlanta's got 9 outs left to try to get something going against Gesellman and the Mets pen.
Braves time of the game.
Here we go. 255 runs from the 7th inning on or later. Second only to Houston, I believe, in that category in the big leagues. 7 up, 7 down for Gesellman. He's gotten 10 ground ball outs. He struck out 3 in his first 6 innings.
He's been good. He's mixed everything up. He's kept the ball down. Fastball's been in on some lefties to keep them honest.
I think you hit it on the head, Joe, when you said he's kept the ball down. He hasn't enabled us to get some balls up in this air today, especially with it carrying.
That's lifted high in the air toward left, but it's curling out toward Nimmo, and he makes the catch. And Markakis hit it hard, but is retired for the first out.
Only 87 pitches too. One of the things that is really a hallmark for a ground ball pitcher, sinker ball pitcher, is getting early contact. So he doesn't have to elevate his pitches a little bit for a strike. Look at that.
Didn't mean to. So that's a break for Gesellman. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs lead the Cardinals 1-0 in the 4th at Wrigley. Milwaukee 6-0 over Miami in the 4th. Phillies lead Oakland 3-2 6th inning. Reds 5-zip over the Pirates that game in the 8th inning at the Great American Ballpark. Pitch stayed high to Johan. 2-1. Johan, the pride of Panama. That's on my list of places to go see someday.
You want to talk about a lot of fun. Back in 2010, I played in the San Juan series when I was with the Mets, and we played the Marlins down in Puerto Rico during the regular season for 3 games. And you talk about pride in a country. I think there was about 14,000 at the game, and they're all, you know, beating the balloons and all that. I mean, it's
never sat down.
No, it is quite an experience.
Like the Caribbean World Series games.
Exactly.
Right? Fans are into it. This one's bounced up the middle. Rosario behind the bag, bobbled it, and then dropped it. Not sure what happened there. There's a gift.
Seemed to be a little more concerned with stepping on the bag and not tripping over it. And as a result, may have looked up a little too soon.
Oh, maybe that's the break we needed.
Yeah. I remember when we first went down there, Jeff, with the Braves to play the Expos.
That's right.
Javi Lopez hit a homer late in the first game we played there. You talk about a place going crazy.
I remember Javi telling me he left like 115 tickets or something.
Oh, I'll bet Bill Acree loved that request.
Yeah.
Yeah, old Hiram Bidhorn Stadium in downtown San Juan. No balls and a strike for Dansby.
One year, a real odd circumstance. The Dodgers played the Mets in Santo Domingo in spring training. Just one, it might have been 2 games in the Dominican for spring training. Again, a sold out, packed house.
Ground ball hit towards short. And that one's under the glove of Rosario. A 2-error inning for the young shortstop. And now things really looking good for Atlanta. First and third with 1 out.
This guy comes with high credentials in terms of defense. The 2 boots in 1 inning, a couple of lollipop throws today. Very uncharacteristic for him. Bottom line on that story, Tom Seaver pitched against the Dodgers, and Manny Mota from the Dominican pinch hit and hit a home run off Seaver to win the game. I thought the stadium was going to come down. Wow.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, I think especially as an American kid growing up here, you know, I didn't go to high school with a lot of Latin kids, and all of a sudden you get thrown into this baseball thing when you're 18, and you know, you walk into the locker room and half the guys are, you know, speaking Spanish, but as you got to know them and embrace the Latin culture, it's a great place to visit, all those places, and to play with these guys and learn the stories, Joe and Chip, of what they come through to get where they are. It makes you appreciate when they get up here.
No balls and a strike. And that's over the inside corner. Jace didn't think so. I mentioned the name Hiram Bidhorn for a reason. He was also a trailblazer. He was the first major league player from Puerto Rico.
Another pitch that wasn't even close. And it changes the whole at bat. It's 0-2.
Yep.
That's why Jace was so upset. Ground ball hit towards second. Reyes will surrender a run. The throw to first in time. And Atlanta cashes in one of those errors. Swanson at second, 2 outs. And Kurt Suzuki's going to come on and hit. A pretty good piece of hitting by Jace to put that ball in play. Down 2 strikes, and the lead's cut in half, 2-1. Crowd of over 32,000 on hand as the Braves have made it a 2-1 game here in the 7th. Braves have gone over the 2.3 million mark in attendance with 6 more home games left.
You know, I watched the replay of that second error by Rosario, and the first one, I think, Joe, you're right. I think the bag kind of came in. The second one, I think that's just a lack of concentration. Or you're still thinking about the other one.
And that happens a lot.
Kurt got after that first pitch, didn't get it, however. And he's down a strike. Kurt's 1 for 6 with an RBI as a pinch hitter. Another hit could get it tied. The 0-1. And that's into the Mets dugout, 0-2. Tough inning for the Mets kid shortstop. His club still leads, but it's now a 2-1 game. Little pop behind first, but that one is going to be foul, and it bounces into the stands. And the count 1-2.
I got to imagine this is his last batter.
I would think so too, and I'm going to, as dangerous as Kurt is on fastballs in the middle half, hit the ball out of the ballpark, he's going to have to rethink that pitch away again too. He didn't get it far enough off the plate.
Popped up over by the Braves dugout, and Smith says he's got it, and he does, and Gesellman surrenders a run thanks to 2 misplays at shortstop. We go to the 8th inning. It's a 2-1 game. Let's join Kelsey Wingert here at SunTrust Park.
Thanks, Chip. Yeah, here at SunTrust Park, there are 6 countries represented on the Currents Brave roster, and they had a lot of activities going out here. So I'm outside in the Battery. This is where everything was going on earlier today. They had food trucks here with a bunch of local restaurants from Atlanta serving food out here. They had a really cool band. They had a dance floor where they had some salsa lessons. I heard Brian Jordan was trying to give some salsa lessons on the pregame show earlier, so I apologize if you're subjected to that. But on the field, they had the players introduced in Spanish. The Spanish radio play-by-play man did that, which was really cool to be able to hear those players out there. They had their flags from their country on the field, and all of the players were welcomed in with those. Javi Lopez throwing out the first pitch. And of course, the Los Bravos jerseys. This is the first year, Chip, that they were able to do that. I spoke to Eddie Perez before the game, and he told me that that's something that meant a lot to these guys. They've seen some other teams in different sports be able to do that, but to be able to take the field with Los Bravos across their chest means a lot to these guys. So great job to the Braves for honoring the Hispanic heritage, because we know it's such a dominant culture here in the league, and we know all of the players enjoyed it.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much for that excellent report. We're through 7, 2-1 game now. As a couple of changes coming for Atlanta. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. If you can't catch the Braves games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports South and Braves baseball with you wherever you go. It's presented by Honda Generators. New battery for Atlanta. You see Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. A.J. Minter is the man on the mound, and he's got Reyes, Nimmo, and Plawecki coming up in a 1-run game. As Joe said, the 7th, 8th, and 9th offensively has been Atlanta's time. Question is, can the bullpen shut down New York to give the Braves bats another crack at him?
A.J. Minter's been everything that he was cracked up to be. He's been very good since he was called up. And 3 straight shutout outings for him. 2 against Miami, 1 at Washington. Total of 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts over that stretch. And look at that, still hasn't walked a batter. Gotta love it.
Another change for Atlanta. Lane Adams takes over in left for the Braves, who are down a run, and that no walk number is certainly eye-popping. Since at least 1913, only one other Braves pitcher has issued no walks through the first 9 games of his career. As the first one is hammered towards center, and on the run is going to track it down off the bat of Jose Reyes.
Hit it to the wrong person.
Yep.
I'll give you guys 3 guesses to see if you can figure out who that is with no walks through 9 games. There's only one since 1913, and it's a modern era Brave. I never would have gotten it, but I read it in the notes.
When he broke in, basically.
First 9 games of the career, no walks.
Huh.
It's a modern one?
Yep.
How modern?
Craig Kimbrell.
Nope. That's one guess. I'll give you another hint. It's within the last 5 years. So Kimbrell's guess number 1. Outside to Nimmo, ball one.
How many do I get?
You can have 3 each. Think of them as chocolate chip cookies. You can have 3 apiece.
Aaron Blair.
No.
Matt Whistler.
No.
Can you give us one more hint? Is he on the current team?
No, I'll give you 2 hints. He's not on the current team and he's left-handed.
Huh. Mike Minor.
Nope. Got 2 left, I think.
Eric O'Flaherty.
Nope.
McKay McBride.
Not Chuck James, not McKay McBride. No, it was Ian Thomas.
I'll be darned.
In 2014. No Braves pitcher has had no walks through 10 games since 1913. So if Minter can get through this inning, looks like he might be in the record books. He's ahead of Nimmo, a ball and 2 strikes.
You know, something Joe talked about last night that could end up being a big deal now was the fact that A.J. Ramos threw about 35 pitches last night. So you got to wonder if he's even available today down there.
I wouldn't think so, especially as poorly as he pitched.
Yeah, you're right. Although the Braves do have success against him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Base is empty for Nimmo.
Aye. That was a strike on Jace.
Yep.
Coin said heads.
And it was a ball, but it was a strike a minute ago.
That's fouled off Nimmo's body. He'll regroup and face a 2-2 count. Braves need a rally to keep Julio Teheran's 4-game winning streak intact. He's down a run. Hits have been tough to come by for both clubs today. 6 total hits. There's strike 3. Nimmo caught looking. He strikes out for the 2nd time. And Minter has 2 outs.
Struck him out.
Liked it.
Well, there's some who say that Minter has the stuff to be a closer someday in the big leagues.
He's built like a left-handed Kimbrel.
Boy, how refreshing is it to see a young man come up from the minor leagues and throw strikes. Seven of his 9 pitches have found the strike zone. No balls and a strike for Plawecki. And it's even 1-1.
That ball is getting on that hitter so fast. They can't even, in this case, Plawecki, he can't even get out of the way when he's starting to swing at it.
Look at that ball explode.
That's a nasty pitch right there.
Yeah, that's more like a cutter than a true slider.
That's when you know you got a guy that has, as Chip said, closer ability, but a guy that can pitch a whole inning or 2 with the fact that he can get righties out too with that pitch.
2-2. Fouled away. I guess the next level in AJ's development is going to be pitching on back-to-back days in the major leagues. I don't believe we've seen that with the Braves, and I think he's done it once this year in the minor leagues. AJ, the first member of the 2015 draft class to get to the big leagues. And he just took care of Plawecki. A nasty inning. 3 up, 3 down. Time for the Braves to rally in the 8th.
With this Xfinity game break, I'm Andre Aldridge. Justin Verlander making his first home start for the Astros against the Mariners, and strikes out Gene Segura there in the 3rd. In the 4th, gets Kyle Seager. But unfortunately for him, his club's down 1-0 as they try to put some work in there. Actually, it's a 4-1 score right now at the top of the 4th. So the Astros have come back, Chip.
Okay, Andre, thank you very much. Again, Houston's magic number is 1. If they win today, they win the West. And you got to like their chances with Verlander up 3 at Minute Maid Park in the 5th inning.
I know they're the same colors. I just still can't get used to him with the Astros stuff on.
It's going to take a while.
All those years with Detroit.
Right? So Lane Adams will lead off for Atlanta. Jerry Blevins is on to pitch after 7 3-hit innings for Robert Gesellman. And Blevins delivers a strike. Blevins, NCRT and Albies. Joe, beg your pardon.
That's okay. Blevins pitched in game 1. Gave up a hit to Freddie Freeman. And then picked Freddie off.
Two balls and a strike. Boy, a leadoff walk to this guy, as fast as he is, would be nice. See what Blevins comes up with here behind in the count. God, a late strike call. It's 2-2.
See, that's the frustrating part, Joe, right there. You now you think you're 3-1 count, and now you're 2-2, and he could kind of throw anything at you.
I watched the pitch, and then I looked down, and then I heard the call.
See, that's
changes. It's a game changer.
You just feel cheated walking back to the dugout right now. That's a tough thing.
Yeah, you're supposed to get 3 strikes. Adams got 2.
Yeah.
And he strikes out. 1 away in the 8th. So here's Ender. He has a single in 3 trips. 190 hits for the Braves center fielder. He's on pace to finish with 208. And that's outside, ball 1. Pop fly foul will do it again. A ball and a strike. With that base hit today for Ender in the third inning, that ties him with Gary Sheffield at 190 hits that Gary compiled in 2003 for the Braves.
Jeff was talking earlier about how you get worn down in August and September especially, and you played in a season where you played every game. Freddie played in one not too long ago where he played in every game. He hates to come out, and when you're putting up good numbers like you did that year, like Freddie's doing this year in September, man, oh man, it's even more impressive.
Yeah, I think more than anything, especially as a young kid, it's good for some of these guys to see what September's all about, because then they know next year how to prepare, because it is a different beast. You say to yourself it's only another month, but it's another month of travel. It's another month of just grinding, showing up, and that August is what takes a lot out of you because of the heat everywhere.
Sure.
I mean, everybody talks about the dog. The dog days are August. That's the tough one, because for a lot of teams you realize you're out of it.
Well, this is a big pitch in this game. And Blevins knows that. He stepped off to think it over. Full count, 1 out, bases empty, 1-run game. Let's lead it 2-1. And strike 3 called. And Ozzie Albies, the final hope in the Atlanta 8th, as we take a look at beautiful SunTrust Park. Our live look in from our Xfinity cam. Nice crowd today of 32,785. As we told you, the Braves have gone over 2.3 million in attendance. We've got 3 games coming up, starting Tuesday night with the Nationals coming up. And Ozzie digs in and pops it up out of play. Strike 1.
That camera is so nice looking in that if you were over on top of the Comcast building, it wouldn't be all that bad a vantage point if you could zoom in.
So when that hotel's done, it's going to be great. Looking right in. Put a little rooftop bar up top.
Oh, you know that'll be going on.
Well, if that's going on, I suggest we do a game from there.
Okay.
Now you're talking.
1 ball, 1 strike. For Ozzie. Evans hugging the line at third. The pitch bends around the plate. Ball 2.
I'm surprised y'all two haven't done a game from the Chop House this year.
We've brought that up.
We're talking about it.
Little pool deck over there at the Omni.
Yeah.
You know, we had to put off the pool thing. Joe and I aren't suit ready yet. Got to work on that this off season.
I don't know. It might be all the food that's eaten up here during the game.
Pretty good chance. Speaking of which, Braves announced today that Chef Hector Santiago is going to open up a new restaurant in the Battery next spring. El Super Pan, a Latino sandwich spot. Mr. Santiago brought some samples to our booth, and they were magnifico.
Delicioso.
That too.
See.
That'll be something else to look forward to as the Battery continues to fill out. More and more shops and restaurants opening up. Really truly will become a baseball city just beyond the gates here at SunTrust. And a 2-out walk earned by Albies, and now it's lefty versus lefty with Freddie Freeman up there, where one swing of the bat could turn this game right around.
I noticed on that shot too from the Comcast building that breeze is blowing a little bit out to right field. Flag was flickering a little bit out toward right. If Freddie could get one up.
How about one of those hanging curveballs?
Yeah.
Well, here's some numbers that give you hope. Freddie is 8 for 15 against Blevins with 3 doubles. So this is a left-hander that does not scare Freeman in any way, shape, or form. And with Albies speed, another one of those doubles could get it tied. And way outside, ball 1.
Changed his mode of operation. Came in the other night and pitched against Freddie and threw in 2 fastballs right in on him to start, to try to set up a breaking ball.
Ground ball right to first, and Smith hardly had to move. And that takes care of Atlanta in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th inning. New York leads it 2-1.
Dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
Next week on Saturdays on South, presented by Ford, don't miss our ACC football doubleheader as 14th ranked Louisville clashes with Kent State, and it's number 17 Miami taking on Toledo. The action kicks off Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
And I'm going to say this.
And I'm going to have to go ahead and correct it. I would like to say it, please, that we're going to need to get that 14 on Louisville changed after they got hammered by my Clemson Tigers last night.
So you're saying you don't even know if they're going to field a team next Saturday?
I don't. And all I know is my Clemson moved up to 2 and Joe Sooners dropped to 3. Just saw a while ago. Yep.
Huh.
A swinging bunt by Smith. That's going to spin foul. Hey, AJ, grab that ball, man.
That doesn't surprise me, that ranking switch.
No.
Clemson played a ranked team. OU did not. I can only imagine where Georgia's going.
The big Samford win.
We're getting the sign over there from Chip.
Dogs got a tough one next week, though. Mississippi State.
Wow, yeah. 2
Bulldogs in a row. Are they soon to be national champions?
But Samford? Really?
Look, it's been a rough couple years. Let us dream for a while, okay? As Dominic Smith has a 1-1 count. And in for a strike over the outside edge.
Sure like what I see in Minner. I know you guys do too. This may be his only hitter. I'm not sure. Left out there to pitch to the left-hander.
Wow. Blew him away with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And now Smith is grumbling. And that is going to be it for Minter, and it is going to be a record set. 10 appearances without a walk. In the first 10 games of his big league career, something that has never been done by a Braves pitcher since 1913 until today. Minter struck out the last 3, an inning and a third of spotless relief. What a bright future we get to enjoy watching this young man pitch.
Next Tuesday through Sunday with something special happening each day. And take advantage of discount tickets all week long with seats priced as low as $5 for each game. Visit Braves.com/fan appreciation for all the details.
Yeah, we got the Nationals coming in. We've got the Phillies coming in.
Yeah, I figured I'd do this a couple promos for you just to save you for the rest of the year.
I appreciate it, man. I'm limping to the finish line.
Especially since this is my last time with y'all, and I just wanted to tell you thank you for helping me transition into my next phase.
You're doing great.
Well,
doing great.
Y'all have been awesome.
You bring a lot to the table, and we appreciate it.
Literally, too. He brought a whole bag of biscuits for breakfast today.
Bojangles, baby.
Free food will always open the door for you in our booth. But no, great job, Jeff. It's been a lot of fun. And can't wait to see you out on the Braves live set for the remainder of the homestand. And then next year, hopefully we'll have you up in the booth a little more frequently in 2018.
Be nice.
Jose Ramirez on to pitch for Atlanta with 1 out in the 9th inning. Rosario and Lagares are the next Mets hitters. Kind of like what you've seen for Atlanta. 4 names in particular out of the bullpen: Sam Freeman, Minter, Ramirez, and Vizcaíno. That's 4 hard-throwing guys that have pitched meaningful innings this year, and you figure that's going to be a nice start to the rebuilding process that we'll see in the relief corps going into spring training next year.
Couldn't agree more.
Little tapper. Camargo bare hand and can't do anything with it. Rosario can fly. He's aboard for the 2nd time. A 1-out infield hit.
You know, when you're struggling and you got a young staff, a good bullpen to pick you up, and a good defense to keep the plays going. Those are the 2 things you got to have.
Well, that was one of the things about the Mets. When they had all those sluggers on their team, it didn't really matter if they had to go play real solid defense, because they had a pitching staff that struck everybody out. They didn't have that many balls put in play. All of a sudden, all those guys are hurt, and their lack of defense began to show up when more balls were hit.
And a couple of those guys, they might have gave up a couple runs out in the field, but they drove in a lot more.
Exactly.
Well, that's another reason why I think the Braves, in some regards, have a, as the runner goes, the pitch a strike, the throw to second is going to be way late. Why the Braves, I think, have a leg up in taking a step forward next season with regards to where they're going to stand in the East. The old saying, be strong up the middle. I think that's especially important with, as you said, Jeff, what's going to be, for the most part, a pretty young pitching staff. Yeah, you've got R.A. Dickey, possibly for next year. You have Julio Teheran. You've got Mike Foltynewicz, who's been around the block a time or 2 now. But the rest of those guys are pretty untested.
Yeah.
So if he can catch the ball and prevent runs, takes a ton of pressure off you having to score.
And realistically, you know, throughout a year, you're going to at least need 7, 8, 9 guys to start for you. And especially in this day and age.
So it'll all be Swanson, Camargo, and Inciarte, possibly Tyler Flowers, maybe Kurt Suzuki. That's the backbone of the Braves defense right now. Freddie Freeman at first. As you know, an excellent glove man. And as we all know, in '91, when the Braves took that giant step forward with a lot of young pitching, they had guys that caught the ball. Bream and Belliard and Pendleton.
Otis
Nixon in center.
Lemke.
Lagares to an E after he swings and misses. And that's the second out. The last 4 Mets outs have been via strikeouts in the late innings, which you like to see. Now one more man to get.
Careful on the first pitch with this guy. It's what he's done as a pinch hitter in this series and then as a starter today. Goes after that first one.
Didn't mean to and fouled it away.
I think Kurt was thinking what you were thinking, Joe. Throw him a little slider, try to keep him off balance.
Looking ahead to the Atlanta ninth, Markakis, Camargo, and Swanson are scheduled. Blevins pitched the 8th inning. He's had great luck against Markakis. See if Terry Collins brings Blevins out for one more hitter or if he goes to a clean inning with someone out of his pen. To center, long run ender, not going to get it. It's over his head and up against the wall. And Evans with a 2-out run scoring double gives the Mets a big insurance run. It's 3-1, and the infield hit and stolen base comes back to haunt the Braves.
And the ball jumped off his bat on that swing.
Yeah. It's like a little hanging slider.
Yeah. This guy reminds me of someone who was kind of a thick-legged third baseman.
Pablo Sandoval?
No, played for Houston. Played for Houston.
Morgan Innsberg?
Yes. Yes. Way to go.
Thank you. I was going with Pablo too.
But if Evans won a batting title in the Eastern League, that's pretty good work. Tough hitting league.
Well, that's his first big league RBI. It's a big insurance run for New York. They lead now 3-1. And now a high fly ball by Asdrubal Cabrera pinch hitting. Look at that ball carry. Look at Ender go as far as he can. No chance to get it. It's into the Atlanta bullpen. Terry Collins pushed all the right buttons in this game, didn't he? A 3-run inning capped by Cabrera's pinch hit homer.
Couldn't have reached that one, Ender.
Ball was out of here by a good bit. We talk about a hitter. What a great day when you can have a pinch hit bomb.
When you've just been sitting around all day, make a difference.
Well, what was a 2-1 game is now a 5-1 game.
We've been talking about this with Jose, or I have been, and bringing it up, and it's becoming more than just a coincidence. But he has a real difficult time retiring the first guy he faces.
That's sharply hit. What a play, Dansby. Quick fire, but not in time. Aoki beats it out. Another infield hit. 4th of the inning.
I realized the swinging bunt was rather lucky on the part of Rosario. But Ramirez has only retired 41 of 66 first batters he faces. Play by Dansby. Just couldn't get enough on the throw.
I think he's one of those guys, Jose, that you watch and you're like, there's no reason this guy gets hit. And he's got as good a stuff as there is on this team.
So Jose Reyes will bat with a man aboard after Aoki picks up a third hit today. In fact, for Aoki, that's 5 hits in the last 2 games.
Remember last year, Mauricio Cabrera was kind of the darling of the bullpen because he could throw 100 miles an hour, but he didn't always throw a lot of strikes. And we didn't see Mauricio at all this year. He had his share of difficulties. And Jose took that opportunity to step in and be the guy all year long. Good 7th inning setup.
I remember the first 3-4 weeks last year when Cabrera was up. It was so funny watching other teams when he threw the first couple pitches and, you know, they didn't know who he was. The next thing you know, you look up and see 102 and they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Where did he come from?
And he's a pretty big boy on the mound.
Yes, sir.
Again, the runner goes, and absolutely no chance for Kurt Suzuki. Aoki steals a base.
Kurt couldn't make the transfer cleanly.
Yeah, Mauricio Cabrera pitched at 3 different levels this year. A couple of games with the Fire Frogs, 24 games at Gwinnett. We had a 7.86 ERA. Walks a big problem. 25 of them in 26 innings. And then with Mississippi, a 5.27 ERA with 18 walks in 13 2/3 innings. So almost 2 base runners on walks and hits per inning for Cabrera. After he went 5-1 with the Braves with a 2.82 ERA last year. Full count for Reyes. And he takes a walk. A disastrous 9th inning for Jose Ramirez, and Brian Snitker no choice but to go get him. So 3 runs are in on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits and a walk. And the big blow, the Asdrubal Cabrera pinch hit 2-run homer. 5-1, New York has the lead. The top of the 9th continues with Rex Brothers coming on. 5-1, 2 on, 2 outs. Rex Brothers will come on and try to retire Brandon Nimmo and turn things back over to the Braves bats.
23rd outing for Rex. 28 strikeouts in 19 innings. We've seen that on several occasions where he comes in and blows people away, gets them 3 up and 3 down with 3 strikeouts. All he needs is 1 right here.
Feast or famine day for Nimmo. He's walked twice. He's struck out looking twice. So he's 0 for 2. And Brothers ready with his first, which is downstairs. One quick score for you. The Tigers beat Chicago 12-0. At first glance, meaningless game, right? Matt Boyd took a no-hitter into the 9th inning with 2 outs, and Tim Anderson doubled to break up the no-hit bid. The only hit the White Sox got today at Comerica Park.
You're at Comerica Park and you get 2 outs with a perfect game or no hitter. Bad things happen.
Yeah, Galarraga in the perfect game.
Yeah.
A few years ago. It's been a light year for no hitters in the big leagues. There's only been 1. Edinson Volquez threw 1 for the Marlins on June 3rd against Arizona. So Matthew Boyd came as close as you can. For Tim Anderson broke his heart for the White Sox. 1-1 pitch. He is fouled at the plate. 1-2.
Did they at least let him finish the game?
He did get the complete game.
Okay.
Finished it off. First 9-inning complete game as a professional. He'd made 121 professional starts before today.
Well, as tough a year as the Tigers have had, that was almost a celebratory moment.
Yeah.
Winning 12-0 was worth a celebration of some kind for him.
1-2 pitch, and Nimmo chased it, and that retires the side. But New York, with a back-breaking 9th inning to this point, scored 3 runs to take a 4-run lead. Lead, and somewhat surprisingly, it's A.J. Ramos is going to come on and pitch after a heavy workload last night. Mets are hoping he can maybe get back into a rhythm. He's got a 4-run lead and the middle of the Atlanta order coming up.
Well, maybe he just wanted to get back on the saddle after last night. He was not very good. Walked the leadoff man in the 9th inning. Gave up 2 subsequent hits that produced a couple of runs in a game that was well in control of the Mets, but he did not pitch well.
Yeah, this might be one of those things. He asked Terry if it was an opportunity for him to pitch today, put me in.
Well, Robert Gesellman started the game. I'm sure Sandy Alderson will be very happy with his result. He gave up 1 unearned run in 7 innings. Julio Teheran, no run support. Gave up 2 runs in 6, 4 walks, one of them came around to score. The Braves have just 3 total hits through 8 innings today, and are in danger of dropping their 18th game in the last 24th played against the Mets in this ballpark, dating back to September of 2015.
Or in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, but that includes here at SunTrust, where the Mets are 6-3, trying to go 7-3. Nick couldn't stop himself, and it's a 1-2 count. As I said, the Mets are on their way down to Miami next. They'll open up a series with the Marlins. Marlins made an announcement today. Very kind gesture. They're offering free tickets for every remaining home game to first responders and any residents of Monroe County, Florida, which encompasses the areas south of Miami and the Florida Keys.
Sounds good.
So hopefully big crowds will come out and see the Marlins and Mets play, and the Marlins and Braves play at the end of this month and the first day of October. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and strike 3 called outside corner. And it's been a grumble fest for both hitting squads so far today.
Jeez.
You know,
that's bad.
I think he's got a timer. I think he's got a timer that it goes off where he's got to ring somebody up every time it dings.
That's brutal.
No matter where the pitch is. Man.
So 6 Braves have struck out as Camargo
It's not even worth arguing.
is behind in the count. He reached on the first of 2 Ahmed Rosario errors in the 7th and scored on Jace Peterson's ground out. And there's a shot over Reyes' head and into right field. So Johan with a 2-hit game, that gives him another multi-hit game, and as Joe mentioned earlier, he's already got a 6-game hitting streak in his back pocket that he'll try to continue on Tuesday.
You know, Joe, one thing that's, yeah, this park's beautiful, everything. The one thing I can tell you the players love about this park more than Turner Field is the fact that it's 4:30 and there's not shadows on the plate yet. At Turner Field, they'd start creeping up about 3:30, 3:45. Right. There's nothing worse than hitting through shadows.
Really hard to pick the ball up.
It is.
Braves have struck out 6 times today. 4 of them have been called third strikes.
That was a good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals have tied the Cubs 3-3 in the 6th. Rockies 3, San Diego nothing in the 5th. Milwaukee 9-3 over the Marlins. That game's through 6 at Miller Park. Miami the home team in that relocated series. The pitch. Right there, a strike.
I'll tell you, Colorado's really picked it up. I was here, what, 2 weekends ago when we did it? They were fading quick, but they've stopped that.
Yeah, they went home and played poorly also from here.
Yeah.
And then got back in gear, holding off Milwaukee for the wild card.
Yep.
Now the 1-2. So as it stands now, Arizona and Colorado will square off in the wild card game, and the winner of that 1-game play-in will face the Dodgers in a first-round matchup in National League play. Quite frankly, if I'm LA, I don't relish having to play either one of them. Two balls, 2 strikes. do it again.
That had him where that was running in.
It's a changeup. That was a fastball. I think it had him. Well, here comes a slider right here.
Three-two. Fly ball towards center. And Dansby's the second out. Braves have 4 more with the Mets. They'll be coming your way up at Citi Field. Starting on September 25th, a doubleheader. So here's Matt Adams. He's batting in the pitcher's spot here. So Brothers struck out the only man he faced in a third of an inning. And Camargo goes ahead and takes second base. That's up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Adams was on his way to first. 3-1.
Like a bottom of the line.
Yeah.
Strike. Matt thought it was low.
That one too high. He flips the bat away, and the 9th inning continues. 2 on, 2 out.
Some more difficulty for A.J. Ramos. 30-some pitches last night, 19 today.
I would say he's probably going to have the day off tomorrow.
I would think so.
Micah Johnson's going to pinch run for Adams at first. The luxury for the Mets here, they've got a 4-run lead. Terry Collins would prefer to not have to go to his bullpen any further. Couldn't check his swing. And he's down a strike. Cleveland beat Kansas City 3-2 today. Houston 7-1 behind Verlander in the 8th inning at Minute Maid Park. Minnesota all over Toronto 13-5. Texas beating the Angels 3-0. At the end of the day, it's looking like Houston's in good shape to clinch the West today. No balls, 1 strike. We saw Houston at the time. Joe and I thought that the Astros were the best team we'd seen all year. Then Correa got hurt. Then Keuchel had some issues. Then McCullers had some problems. Well, they added Verlander, and that's going to make anybody's rotation look an awful lot better. So, quit on Houston in postseason play as Suzuki tried to launch that and fouled it away. The Braves are down to their last strike.
I think a lot of times, too, you talk about the Astros with such a young team, the ups are way up and the downs are way down. Yeah. And when they were going, man, it was high fives, all the showboat and stuff. And then when it got bad, it got bad.
Well, they came here and they put on a show.
Yeah.
They were amazing. Corey Kluber, by the way, 7 innings, a 3-hit shutout ball, no walks.
Only 7 innings today?
9 strikeouts.
So he's got 17 wins and a check swing. Ramos will accept that gift and flip to first, and the Mets take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. 5-1 is today's final score. A very close game through 8, but Jose Ramirez had a rough 9th, and that provided the margin of victory for New York. And we will say goodbye to the Mets here in Atlanta and look forward to seeing them in New York in about a week and a half, fellas. Off day tomorrow. Nationals are in here on Tuesday.
And it's too bad the Braves were right in a position poised to try to win this thing late, but the 3-run 9th inning too much.
So New York beats Atlanta 5-1. Robert Gasselman the winner, now 7-7. Julio's 4-game winning streak comes to a close. He falls to 11-12. Plenty to talk about on the Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Joe, Jeff, and I will do that right after the break.